Hello and welcome back to 1874. I'm your host, Dan Bardell, and this show is, as ever, sponsored by Matchbingo. You can download the Matchbingo app by heading to 1874.io/matchbingo. You'll then be able to buy yourself some bingo cards. You'll have to sign up first, of course, but get yourself some bingo cards, and then that's your chance to win between £25 and £250 on all the football that's going on at the moment, including the Women's Euros. So if you're looking for a little bit of an added extra when you're watching the football and you want to win a little bit of money by putting a little bit of money on yourself, this is your chance. I've won a few times. It's a really, really good app. If you could sign up to Match Bingo, that would really help us as a channel, and it's really appreciated by me. Now, like every other Aston Villa fan, I have just listened to the Francesco Calvo interview on the official Aston Villa YouTube, the new president of business operations. Really, really impressed, I will say. I really, really enjoyed the interview. Great to see Michelle Owen on the content again. And I thought it was one of the slickest videos I've actually ever seen from the club. I don't know whether there's been any kind of changes or anything in the summer, but I really, really thought it was a slick video and really, really well produced. And I was just instantly impressed by Francesco Calvo. That the way he spoke, he seemed like he seemed like a football man, seemed really affable. I thought his English was absolutely superb as well. Obviously, when someone's coming from abroad, you never know how good their English is going to be. But I thought his English was excellent. So overall, really, really impressed. I liked what he said. I think he didn't kind of dodge the difficult topics as well. So the club have actually got a print version of this interview as well. So I'm just going to kind of rattle through it and give my thoughts. So he says, "Thank you very much upon being welcomed. I found everything very exciting. I arrived here a bit in advance of when I was supposed to be here because I wanted to discover the city, to discover the club and start to get to know the people and understanding the culture of the club. I've been visiting around Birmingham and the Midlands trying to understand where I'm arriving because I want to know everything properly in order to start in the right way." So first off, it's great that he's come in early and that he started his job early, or kind of got around his surroundings early, so he knows what he's working with. I think it's a really important point to kind of get the region as well, because I think people from the Midlands, people from Birmingham are quite unique, and we're maybe seen in certain ways. But I think that he's come in and he's obviously tried to get a handle on the place. And I think the place is almost as important as the club, and trying to understand the area. You know, we've spoken about things before about Birmingham not being London. I think it's really, really important to kind of get a feel for the city. So I'm really, really glad that he's done that straight away. He wants to get the region and he wants to get the club. He then kind of speaks around his experience. So this is a guy that's worked at Juventus, he's worked at Roma, and he's worked at Barcelona. And he kind of said that every club you work at is different, every place is different, and Villa will be unique to Juventus, they'll be unique to Roma and unique to Barcelona, and the ownership style and everything. English football is different to the other clubs he's worked at as well. So I think it's good that he's got an appreciation that he's walking into something very, very different. He also referenced that he's worked with Monchi before, and this is the bit I think I'm most pleased with this appointment, in that he's got an existing relationship with someone that's really, really high up at Villa in Monchi on the football side. He talks later on in the interview about being 360 degrees successful. I think this is important because what this appointment does, I think maybe the two strands were quite separate before at Villa over the last 7 years. I think now the football side and the business side with Calvo at the helm, they'll be more aligned. I think it will be easier to operate. I think he did seem like a real football man as well, is what I took away from the interview. So that will just help everything amalgamate and come together. So I think that's a positive that we can tick off as Villa fans, is that this guy's a football man. He's coming into the club. He's got existing relationships, having the football side and the business side, having that 360-degree successful kind of notion that he was going on about. I think that's really, really important. And again, something that should be good for us moving forward. He was asked about his leadership style as well. You know, he said he likes to be open and transparent. He spoke about like managing a team and the way he wants to do it being like him being a conductor in the orchestra. Nice analogy. Obviously, the proof will ultimately, with all this stuff, be in the pudding. But you know, he seems like a real leader, someone that from the early signs of that interview that's be kind of easy to get behind and work with. So I'm hopeful with that, and I'm also hopeful, and this is the bit that probably most impressed me actually, is that he acknowledges that there'll be difficult decisions, but the club need to be open and transparent. Maybe in the last 7 years that hasn't always been the case with certain decisions. I think now the fact he's mentioned it and he's talked about it, maybe the club have realised that that's been a problem and that it's something that needs to change. So I think he's basically saying, I will make decisions that won't be popular with the fan base. And that's fine, unpopular decisions will happen. But I think he's kind of saying, pointing to the fact that there's a way of doing it, and we've got to talk to the fans properly and make the fans a part of it. So I'm hopeful that is something that is going to happen, because the fans are at the forefront of everything with this football club. I like the way, that's one of the things I like about Vidagani and Emery, the way they speak. When they speak, they always talk about the fans. So it feels like Calvo's going to be a little bit more like that, and he's going to be, the way he speaks, he's going to be more geared towards the fans as well. As I say, I think the shirts have gone up by £5 already. I'm not sure whether this was under this regime or the last regime, but the shirts are more expensive already this year. It's a small rise, but it's still a rise. I don't know whether that has been communicated, but I think the fact that he seems so open and he really wants to communicate with the fans, that's a real positive for us as well. And yeah, my last takeaway was him talking about the 360 degrees of being successful, and also I think this is the thing about Villa. I think the foundations are always there. There's a lot right with Villa. There's a lot of stuff that we can build on, if we're effective and everyone works together. And I think that'll be the way it will be under this new regime. And I'm hopeful that it will be. I think bridges certainly need to be built in some respects, and the proof will be in the pudding. It's early days, but I'm very impressed with the way he communicated and the stuff that Calvo said. For his first interview, not in his main language, to come across the way he did. And I thought Michelle Owen, as I say, was great in asking the questions. I really liked the backdrop that they were using as well. I have no idea where that is at Villa Park, but it looked really good. So credit to the last regime for that, because it probably was done under their watch, and it looked really nice. Let me know in the comments if you do know where that was, because it did look really, really good. But just overall, I'm impressed. I think the fact that he's got the kind of football heritage, and that he's got the football past on his CV, I think that's a positive thing. And I've read positive things about him, and I've also read some negative things about Calvo as well from Juventus fans in my kind of research before he got the job. But ultimately now it's about what he does at Aston Villa. But the early signs are good. Really enjoyed the interview, and yeah, hopefully in the future we'll have more things that we can discuss that are really, really positive. So that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well, if you want to. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe with your post notifications on. As always, let's get those subscribers up. Let's hit 30,000. If you've listened via Apple or Spotify, then give us 5 stars, leave us a review, leave us a comment. All this stuff is appreciated. I will jump on if anything happens. I've recorded a video with Neil Dunworth, another tier list, looking at Aston Villa goalkeepers. You'll probably notice the shirts in my background. So I did a tier list with Neil earlier on today. That will be out on Saturday. It's Friday now at the time of recording this show. So watch out for that tier list. It's a great trip down memory lane with some of the 90s goalkeepers, and even some goalkeepers that you've probably forgotten about, actually. So do watch that when it comes out. I'm going to go. Have a great rest of your Friday, and have a great weekend as well. And as always, up the Villa.